Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Ishani Gupta with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says agricultural reforms will empower farmers, unshackle them and give new rights and opportunities. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi says with the help of technology, culture works like an emotional recharge. Says teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji echo from Vancouver to Wellington and Singapore to South Africa. Home Minister Amit Shah says government ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar reiterates India's resolve to further enhance India-Seychelles strategic partnership in post-COVID era. COVID recovery rate in the country stands at 93.68%. And in cricket, Australia sets a 390-run target before India in the second one-day international in Sydney. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said recent agricultural reforms have opened new doors of possibilities for farmers. Addressing the nation in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, the Prime Minister said farmers had been demanding this reform for a long time and his government delivered on this front. He said Parliament gave a legal form to the agricultural reforms after a lot of deliberations.
बीते दिनों हुए कृषि सुधारों ने किसानों के लिए नई संभावनाओं के द्वार भी खोले हैं। बरसों से किसानों की जो मांग थी, जिन मांगों को पूरा करने के लिए किसी न किसी समय में हर राजनीतिक दल ने उनसे वायदा किया था, वो मांगे पूरी हुई है। काफी विचार विमर्श के बाद भारत की संसद ने कृषि सुधारों को कानूनी स्वरूप दिया। इन सुधारों से न सिर्फ किसानों के अनेक बंधन समाप्त हुए हैं, बल्कि उन्हें नए अधिकार भी मिले हैं, नए अवसर भी मिले हैं। इन अधिकारों ने बहुत ही कम समय में किसानों की परेशानियों को कम करना शुरू कर दिया है।
The Prime Minister recounted how the reforms helped Jitendra Bhoiji, a farmer from Dhule district of Maharashtra, in receiving his outstanding payments for selling corn. Mr. Modi said right knowledge, which is free from misconceptions and rumors, can act as a force multiplier for every individual. He lauded Muhammad Aslam living in Baran district of Rajasthan for raising awareness among farmers.
उम्मीद है बड़ी-बड़ी कंपनियों के सीईओज को ये सुनकर अच्छा लगेगा कि अब देश के दूर दराज वाले इलाकों में काम कर रहे किसान संगठनों में भी सीईओज होने लगे हैं। मोहम्मद असलम जी ने अपने क्षेत्र के अनेकों किसानों को मिलाकर एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बना लिया है। इस ग्रुप पर वो हर रोज आसपास की मंडियों में क्या भाव चल रहा है, इसकी जानकारी किसानों को देते हैं। खुद उनका एफपीओ भी किसानों से फसल खरीदता है, इसलिए उनके इस प्रयास से किसानों को निर्णय लेने में मदद मिलती है।
Mr. Modi also praised Virendra Yadav of Haryana's Kaithal district, who returned from Australia 2 years back and is working to provide a solution to the stubble burning issue.
पराली का समाधान करने के लिए वीरेंद्र जी ने पुआल की गांठ बनाने वाली स्ट्रॉ बेलर मशीन खरीदी। इसके लिए उन्हें कृषि विभाग से आर्थिक मदद भी मिली। इस मशीन से उन्होंने पराली के गट्ठे बनाना शुरू कर दिया। गट्ठे बनाने के बाद उन्होंने पराली को एग्रो एनर्जी प्लांट और पेपर मिल को बेच दिया। वीरेंद्र जी ने पराली से सिर्फ 2 साल में 1.5 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा का व्यापार किया है और उसमें भी लगभग 50 लाख रुपए मुनाफा कमाया है। इसका फायदा उन किसानों को भी हो रहा है जिनके खेतों से वीरेंद्र जी पराली उठाते हैं।
Mr. Modi requested the youth to visit villages in their vicinity and talk to the farmers and make them aware of the innovations in farming and the recent agricultural reforms. Mr. Modi said culture helps a lot during crisis and plays a major role in facing and handling it. He added that even with the help of technology, culture works like an emotional recharge. Mr. Modi stressed on the importance to take cultural heritage to the maximum number of people through the medium of technology.
क्राइसिस में कल्चर बड़े काम आता है। इससे निपटने में अहम भूमिका निभाता है। टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से भी कल्चर एक इमोशनल रिचार्ज की तरह काम करता है। घर बैठे दिल्ली के नेशनल म्यूजियम गैलरीज का टूर कर पाएंगे, जहां एक और सांस्कृतिक धरोहरों को टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से अधिक लोगों तक पहुंचाना अहम है, वहीं इन धरोहरों के संरक्षण के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग भी महत्वपूर्ण है।
Prime Minister Modi also expressed delight that the heritage and art of Ajanta caves is also being digitized and restored. Along with the digitalized and restored painting, it shall also have important documents and cards related to it. He pointed out how photos of the beautiful cherry blossoms in Shillong are going viral on the social media. He stated that these cherry blossoms have further enhanced the beauty of Meghalaya. The Prime Minister expressed happiness that a very old idol of goddess Annapurna is coming back to India from Canada. This idol was stolen from a temple in Varanasi over 100 years ago, around 1913, and smuggled out of the country. Mr. Modi conveyed his gratitude to the Canadian government and all those who made it possible. Mr. Modi said Dr. Salim Ali's 125th Jayanti Samaroh began from November 12th this month. Dr. Salim had done a remarkable work in the field of bird watching. This has also attracted bird watchers of the world towards India. The Prime Minister spoke about Jonas Massetti, who is from Brazil. Massetti is also known as Vishwanath. He teaches Vedanta and Gita and runs an organization called Vishwa Vidya.
पिछले 7 वर्षों में जोनस ने वेदांत पर अपने फ्री ओपन कोर्सेज के माध्यम से 1.5 लाख से अधिक स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाया है। जोनस न केवल एक बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं, बल्कि उसे एक ऐसी भाषा में कर रहे हैं जिसे समझने वालों की संख्या भी बहुत अधिक है। लोगों में इसको लेकर काफी रुचि है कि कोरोना और क्वारंटाइन के इस समय में वेदांत कैसे मदद कर सकता है। मन की बात के माध्यम से मैं जोनस को उनके प्रयासों के लिए बधाई देता हूं।
The Prime Minister said the nation will celebrate the 551st Prakash Parv of Guru Nanak Dev tomorrow. He said Guru Nanak's teachings echo from Vancouver to Wellington and Singapore to South Africa.
गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब में कहा गया है, सेवक को सेवा बन आई, यानी सेवक का काम सेवा करना है। बीते कुछ वर्षों में कई अहम पड़ाव आए और एक सेवक के तौर पर हमें बहुत कुछ करने का अवसर मिला। गुरु साहिब ने हमसे सेवा ली। गुरु नानक देव जी का ही 550वां प्रकाश पर्व, श्री गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी का 350वां प्रकाश पर्व, अगले वर्ष श्री गुरु तेग बहादुर जी का 400वां प्रकाश पर्व भी है। ये गुरु नानक देव जी ही थे जिन्होंने लंगर की परंपरा शुरू की थी। और आज हमने देखा कि दुनिया भर में सिख समुदाय ने किस प्रकार कोरोना के इस समय में लोगों को खाना खिलाने की अपनी परंपरा को जारी रखा। मानवता की सेवा की ये परंपरा हम सभी के लिए निरंतर प्रेरणा का काम करती है।
Mr. Modi said that recently he interacted with the students of many educational institutions from IIT Delhi to IIT Guwahati through video conferencing. He asked students to contribute as alumni to their institutions even after they graduate. He added that IIT Delhi has started an endowment fund, which is a brilliant idea. He said there is a culture of making endowments in world-famous universities. The Prime Minister further stated that alumni play a very important role in technology upgradation of their institutions, in construction of buildings, in initiating awards and scholarships, and in starting programs for skill development. The Old Student Association of certain schools have started mentorship programs. The death anniversary of Shri Aurobindo will be observed on the 5th of December. Mr. Modi said there is a lot of depth in Shri Aurobindo's teachings.
श्री अरबिंदो के विचार बहुत स्पष्ट थे। वो शिक्षा को केवल किताबी ज्ञान, डिग्री और नौकरी तक की सीमित नहीं मानते थे। श्री अरबिंदो कहते थे, हमारी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा हमारी युवा पीढ़ी के दिल और दिमाग की ट्रेनिंग होनी चाहिए, यानी मस्तिष्क का वैज्ञानिक विकास हो और दिल में भारतीय भावनाएं भी हो, तभी एक युवा देश का और बेहतर नागरिक बन पाता है। श्री अरबिंदो ने राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा को लेकर जो बात तब कही थी, जो अपेक्षा की थी, आज देश उसे नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के जरिए पूरा कर रहा है।
Baba Saheb Ambedkar's death anniversary will be observed on the 6th of December. The Prime Minister asked everyone to reaffirm the resolve to the country and abide by the duties assigned by the Constitution as an individual. Mr. Modi said the nation has now started to discuss the COVID-19 vaccine after breaking out of the lockdown phase. He, however, cautioned that any negligence regarding corona would be very deadly. He asked everyone to strengthen their fight against corona. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reference to the contribution made by the famous ornithologist Salim Ali is set to revive interest in bird watching. Our Chennai correspondent has filed this report.
Ornithology is still at its nascent stage. India is a hot spot for rich flora and fauna, including the avian treasures like birds. The nation is endowed with several endemic species of birds, besides seasonal winged visitors from thousands of kilometers across the globe. Watching their migratory track and their behavioral pattern, including the kinds of sweet chirpings they make, fascinate the bird watchers. The Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History in Coimbatore, under the Ministry of Environment and Forests and Climate Change, has a rare treasure trove of the chirpings of birds. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reference to the famous ornithologist Dr. Salim Ali, who founded it, is expected to contribute to rekindle human interest in birds. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In reference to Prime Minister mentioning Sri Aurobindo in Mann Ki Baat today, our correspondent reports that Sri Aurobindo developed a spiritual practice called integral yoga. The central theme of his vision was the evolution of human life into a divine life. He believed in a spiritual realization that not only liberated but transformed human nature, enabling a divine life on earth. A report from our Puducherry correspondent on Sri Aurobindo and his ashram.
Sri Aurobindo had come to Pondicherry in the year 1910 after he retired from politics. Aurobindo Ashram is a spiritual community located in Pondicherry, grew out of a small community of disciples who had gathered around Sri Aurobindo. On 24th November 1926, after a major spiritual realization, Sri Aurobindo withdrew from public view in order to continue his spiritual work. At this time, he handed over the full responsibility for the inner and outer lives of the spiritual aspirants and the ashram to his spiritual collaborator, the mother, earlier known as Meera Alfaza. Sri Aurobindo wrote Savitri, a legend and a symbol based upon the theology from the Mahabharata, which is considered as one of the longest poems in blank verse with 24,000 lines. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
As the death anniversary of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar is drawing closer, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the citizens to reaffirm their resolve to the country, abiding by the duties assigned to the people by the Constitution as an individual. The death anniversary of Baba Saheb Ambedkar falls on 6th of December, which is observed as Mahaparinirvana Divas. On this day, every year, millions of people throng Dr. Ambedkar's Samadhi, referred as Chaitya Bhumi at Dadar in Mumbai, to pay respect to the great leader. A report from our correspondent.
In the wake of the coronavirus infection as well as the possibility of another wave of COVID-19, special precautions are being taken by Maharashtra government this year to observe the 64th death anniversary of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. The government has issued directives against gathering of people at Chaitya Bhumi. However, special programs will be performed on the day at the site, which includes paying homage by CM Uddhav Thackeray along with other senior leaders and dignitaries. Like every year, flowers will be showered from helicopter at Chaitya Bhumi along with other programs scheduled for the day. The government has made special arrangements for live telecast of the program, which can be viewed on TV and also online by people sitting at their homes. Devopriya Bhattacharjee, AIR News, Mumbai.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says agricultural reforms will empower farmers, unshackle them and give new rights and opportunities. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi says with the help of technology, culture works like an emotional recharge, says teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji echo from Vancouver to Wellington and Singapore to South Africa. Home Minister Amit Shah says government ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar reiterates India's resolve to further enhance India-Seychelles strategic partnership in post-COVID era. COVID recovery rate in the country stands at 93.68%. And in cricket, Australia sets a 390-run target before India in the second one-day international in Sydney. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
To get accurate, reliable and wide coverage of news, tune into AIR News 24/7 and FM Gold and listen to the major bulletins at 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. in English and 8 a.m., 2:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. in Hindi of half an hour each.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Home Minister Amit Shah has appealed to the protesting farmers that government is ready to hold talks. Talking to media, Mr. Shah said Agriculture Minister has invited them on 3rd of December for discussions. He said the government is ready to deliberate on every problem and demand of the farmers.
भारत सरकार आपसे चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार ही. 3 दिसंबर को कृषि मंत्री जी ने आपको निमंत्रण पत्र भेजा है चर्चा के लिए और भारत सरकार आपकी हर समस्या और आपकी हर मांग पर विचार विमर्श करने के लिए तैयार है. दिल्ली पुलिस आपको एक बड़े मैदान के अंदर शिफ्ट करने के लिए तैयार है. आप कृपया वहां पर जाइए. वहां पुलिस परमिशन भी आपको कार्यक्रम करने की दी जाएगी. और अगर किसान यूनियन चाहते हैं कि भारत सरकार जल्द बात करे, 3 तारीख के पहले इनसे बात करे, तो मेरा आप सभी को ये आश्वासन है कि जैसे ही आप लोग इसमें शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं, दूसरे ही दिन भारत सरकार आपके साथ आपकी समस्या और मांगों के लिए बातचीत करने के लिए तैयार है.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reiterated India's resolve to further enhance the India-Seychelles strategic partnership in the post-COVID era. He concluded his 2-day official visit to Seychelles yesterday. During his visit, Dr. Jaishankar called on Seychelles President Wavel Ramkalawan at State House on Friday. During his meeting with the President, the Minister, on behalf of the people and the Government of India, congratulated Mr. Ramkalawan on his recent electoral victory. Recalling the President's visit to India in January 2018, Mr. Jaishankar expressed confidence that under his leadership, the close ties between the two countries would develop even further. He invited President Ramkalawan to India on behalf of the Indian leadership. During the meeting, External Affairs Minister and the President discussed the historical neighbourly relationship strengthened by shared belief in values of democracy and the rule of law. Dr. Jaishankar spoke of the central position Seychelles has in India's vision of security and growth for all in the region sagar that characterized India's policy towards the Indian Ocean region. India will host Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting tomorrow through video conference. Ahead of the meeting, SCO Secretary General Vladimir Norov spoke to Prasar Bharati Special Correspondent in Beijing Anshuman Mishra on the expectations from it and the challenges lying ahead in an exclusive interview. Mr. Norov said that the heads of delegations will exchange views on deepening cooperation in the trade, economic and investment spheres in the context of overcoming the negative consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. He informed that the countries will review the activities of the SCO Business Council and Interbank Association.
As a result of our joint work, we have developed an action plan for implementing the program of multilateral trade and economic cooperation, which will be adopted at the upcoming meeting of Council of Heads of Government. The action plan will help boost economic growth in our countries. The first meeting of the Consortium of Economic Analytical Centers organized by Indiansat, held in August this year, served as a platform for study and comprehensive analysis of factors affecting economic integration within the ACO, taking into account global and regional processes.
Mr. Norov made special mention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's proposal at this year's SCO summit of creating a working group in the field of traditional medicine. At the summit, Mr. Modi also proposed to create a special working group on innovation and startup that could share India's rich experience in the field of startup ecosystem. Under India's chairmanship, the first ever SCO Startup Forum was also launched this year.
Country's total COVID-19 cases reached 93,92,920 with 41,810 new infections registered in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said in the same period, 496 deaths were reported, taking the overall toll to 1,36,696. Total active cases in the country are now at 4,53,956. In the last 24 hours, 42,298 people were discharged. With this, total discharged cases are now at 88,02,267. The recovery rate is at 93.68%. In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 97.08%. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, the state has 5,585 active cases. In all, 668 patients recovered in the last 24 hours, while 713 new cases were reported. Maximum positive cases of 267 were reported from Patna. 37 containment areas in state capital have been sealed. 50 more beds have been added in 100-bed COVID ward in Patna Medical College Hospital. Over 2,27,714 patients have so far recovered from the infection in the state. The Health Minister, Mr. Pandey, said over 1 lakh corona tests are being done every day.
In Odisha, 802 COVID-19 patients recovered today, as against 518 new cases reported from across the state. With this, while the total caseload has increased to 3,18,307, the number of those who have recovered from the infection has shot up to 3,10,549. A report from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
In terms of statistics, the number of just 500 plus fresh cases detected yesterday from across the state is significant in the sense that it is less than what a single district like Khordha was once reporting on any given day just a couple of months back. Another statistical angle to the significant contraction in COVID cases in the state lies in at least 10 districts out of 30 reporting cases fewer than 10 each during the last 24 hours. The fewer case discovery on a daily basis assumes added significance in the light of the fact that the state has been unrelenting in conducting sample tests to the tune of above 40,000 per day over the last few months. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Mizoram registered 16 fresh COVID cases as the tally rose to 3,822 and the recovery rate improved to 89.99%. 58 patients recovered in the past 24 hours, while 16 fresh cases of coronavirus infections were detected. According to the state medical bulletin, so far 3,425 infected people have been discharged from different COVID care centers after recovery. The number of active cases presently stands at 392.
In Tripura, 31,632 people infected with coronavirus have been cured so far, while the recovery rate has further improved to 96.98%. The state registered 31 new cases in the last 24 hours. Alongside, 87 patients have recovered. As on date, the tally rose to 32,641. The active cases have also dropped to 616. The Delhi government has issued work-from-home orders for 50% of its employees associated with non-essential services amid a surge in COVID-19 cases in the national capital. It has also advised private establishments to follow the same practice as far as possible. Delhi Chief Secretary and DDMA Executive Committee Chairman Vijay Dev said all Delhi government offices, autonomous bodies, public sector undertakings, corporations, local bodies will function with officers of grade 1 level or equivalent and above to the extent of 100%. He said the remaining staff will attend up to 50% as per requirement to the assessed by heads of the departments concerned. The remaining 50% of the staff will work from home till December 31st or till further orders, whichever is earlier. Private officers have been advised to stagger the office timings and quantum of staff with an objective to reduce the number of employees attending office at the same time.
In Chhattisgarh, an assistant commandant of the Central Reserve Police Force CRPF was martyred while 9 other security personnel were injured in an improvised explosive device IED blast triggered by Maoists in Bastar region last night. The incident took place when a joint team of Cobra Battalion, an elite unit of CRPF, Special Task Force and District Reserve Guards was on a search operation in Arabraz Meta Hills in Chintagufa area of Sukma district. In this blast, 8 officers and jawans of 206 Cobra, including Second-in-Command Dinesh Kumar Singh and Assistant Commandant Nitin Bhale Rao, were injured. The injured were immediately rushed to Chintalnar Field Hospital and later airlifted to Raipur, where Assistant Commandant Nitin Bhale Rao succumbed to his injuries this morning. Martyred Nitin Bhale Rao is a native of Nashik, Maharashtra. Condition of the remaining injured personnel is stated to be stable. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is in Hyderabad today to campaign for Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation elections. After reaching Hyderabad this morning, the minister visited Bhagya Lakshmi Temple and offered prayers. Top leaders of BJP, including JP Nadda, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, have campaigned in support of the BJP candidates in the municipal corporation elections. The electioneering will come to an end this evening. Polling will be held for the 150 Division GHMC on Tuesday, 1st of December. A total of 1,122 candidates are in the fray. More from our Hyderabad correspondent.
This is the third time that the general elections are being held for Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation after it emerged into an expanded municipal corporation. Almost all state ministers, including Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, have campaigned for the DRS candidates, while a number of BJP top leaders for the first time have campaigned for the corporation elections. Congress MPs and MLAs, besides other senior leaders, have campaigned for the party candidates. On the other side, Owaisi brothers and MIM legislators held an intense campaign for the victory of their party candidates. The electioneering has turned into a high-voltage war of words between TRS and BJP many a time for the past 15 days. The TRS is contesting in all 150 divisions, while BJP and Congress candidates are in the fray in almost all except in 1 or 2 divisions, and MIM is contesting in over 50 divisions. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
The second one-day international between India and Australia is underway at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Australia won the toss and elected to bat and scored 389 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in the stipulated 50 overs. Steve Smith scored 104 runs and David Warner slammed 83 runs for hosts, and Bumrah, Pandya and Shami took 1 wicket each for the visitors. In reply, India were 70 for 2 in 11 overs when reports last came in. In the opening game of the 3-match series on Friday, Australia defeated India by 66 runs. All India Radio Delhi is broadcasting live commentary on the match alternately in Hindi and English. It is available on FM Rainbow, Rajdhani, PV YouTube and other channels.
Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 7 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 26 degrees. Mumbai will observe partly cloudy sky and the temperature will vary between 24 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky and the temperature will hover between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is likely to have mainly clear sky. Temperature will vary between 17 and 29 degrees Celsius. And on to the north, Jammu witnessed a minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 25 degrees. City will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between -1 degree Celsius and 13 degrees. In Leh, there will be partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night. Temperature will vary between -9 degrees Celsius and 1 degree. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky and becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night, with temperature varying between -2 degrees and 16. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky and temperature will move between 5 to 18 degrees Celsius. Dehradun, temperature will hover between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. Sky will be mainly clear. Chandigarh will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature in the city will hover between 10 and 24 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says agricultural reforms will empower farmers, unshackle them and give new rights and opportunities. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi says, with the help of technology, culture works like an emotional recharge, says teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji echo from Vancouver to Wellington and Singapore to South Africa. Home Minister Amit Shah says government's ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar reiterates India's resolve to further enhance India-Seychelles strategic partnership in post-COVID era. COVID recovery rate in the country stands at 93.68%, and in cricket, Australia sets a 390-run target before India in the second one-day international in Sydney. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the midday news.